Good morning, my dear students, and I think you are passing an excellent time, and you feel very happy because you have got announcement from our Honorable Education Minister that our educational institutions would be open very soon for you, especially for the students. Teachers are always at schools and colleges when necessary, but schools and colleges will be running for students, that is very soon, that is already the date has been given. So I think you are in a very joyful mind at present. Anyway, do you remember the topic we are talking the previous day? I think you can guess the topic. Yes, we are talking completing incomplete sentences. The previous day we are talking, and also we learned how to complete incomplete sentences using first conditional. That is, we know that there are 4 conditional sentences, 4 types of conditionals: zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. The previous day we talked about the use of zero conditional and first conditional for completing sentences. Today we will talk about the use of second conditional and third conditional for writing sentences, that is for completing incomplete sentences. First we will talk about the second conditional. So I am writing an example. It would be better if I give an example for you to understand the topic. If you learned English you would get a good job. The sentence has been written using second conditional. How many clauses are there in the sentence? We find here there are 2 clauses. 1, 2. And the first clause normally we call it if clause. So if you learned English, the if clause, and another name of the if clause is subordinate clause or dependent clause, we can say. So if you learned English, that is the subordinate clause, and you would get a job, the principal clause. Now, can you tell me which tense has been applied if you learned English? Which tense has been applied here? If you learned English, look at the verb. It is in the past form. Learned. Learn is the base form of the present form we call, and learned is the past form. That is, there is subject you, learned past form of the verb, and object English. That is, the clause is written in past indefinite tense. That is, here in this conditional, the if clause has been written in past tense. Now look at the principal clause. Here we see subject, would, base form of the verb get, and object a good job. So now can you bring a connection between grammatical connection or relationship between the tenses used in the 2 different clauses? That is, the relationship, the existing relationship of tense used in the if clause and used in the principal clause. Can you guess it? Okay, see, look at this sentence again. I am just telling the grammatical rule used in the second conditional sentence. That is, in second conditional, what we see, the if clause is written in past tense and the principal clause is written, you have to write the subject first, then you have to use would, then the base form of the verb. But bear in mind that always you should not use would. There are alternative words. In place of would, you can write could or might. So, in second conditional, the principal clause, in second conditional sentence, the principal clause should be written maintaining the structure subject, then would or could or might, whatever necessary. That is, you should not use all the three together. Just use either would or could or might, any of the three modal auxiliary verbs in case of second conditional sentences in principal clause. Then you have to use the object if there is any object. If there is no object, you need not use the object. A very important point is that after would, could or might, you have to write the base form of the verb. Get, bear in mind, not the past form of the verb. Now look at the relationship. Here in the if clause, we have written subject, then past form of the principal verb, then the object. Object is not always necessary, but here there is an object. So subject, past form of the verb, then the object. But in the principal clause, subject, would or could or might, but not the past form, but the base form of the verb. Here is the difference. Here in the subordinate clause, past form of the verb, but here in the principal clause, would, could, might, then the base form of the verb. Look at the example. I am giving one more example. If I had a lot of money, I could buy many books. Oh. Now examine this example. It is one more example of second conditional sentence. Can you examine this sentence and identify how it is written using the second conditional? Do you think that I have maintained a formula? That is, the formula that was given earlier has been maintained here. That is, the grammatical structure is correct. Do you think? Okay, look at the, I like to examine this. Here we also find two clauses. The if clause, that is the subordinate clause, the principal clause. What tense has been used in the subordinate clause? That is in the if clause. If I had a lot of money. Subject and past form of the verb. Bear in mind, this had is not the auxiliary had of past perfect. rather it is the only past form of have, and if I had a lot of money, it means that jodi amar prochur taka thakto, onek taka thakto. So here had is the principal verb and it is the past form of the principal verb have. So here past indefinite tense has been used. If I had a lot of money, and look at the principal clause, I would buy many books. Again the same structure, subject, could and buy, the base form of the verb. So I think you have no problem understanding the second conditional, that is the structure of writing sentences using the second grammatical rule of the second conditional. Now I would like to give you one more example, that would be an incomplete sentence. You have to complete it. I am writing here. If we lived in Dhaka. For example, this incomplete sentence is given in your examination. How can you complete it? If we lived in Dhaka, the subordinate clause, that is if clause, is given and the subordinate clause is written in past tense, that is which is subject and the past form of the verb. So if we lived in Dhaka, how can you complete it? What should we do? What grammatical rule should be maintained? If we lived in Dhaka, one very important point bear in mind is that one sentence can be completed in different ways. Just if the sentence is grammatically correct, there is no problem. Many students can complete the sentence in many lexical ways, that is in many ways that will have many meanings, but the grammar structure will be the same. Have you got my point? Maintaining the same grammatical principle, grammatical rule, you can complete the sentence in different ways that will have different meanings, but the grammatical structure will remain the same. So now you can, that is if 50 students complete the sentence in 50 ways that have 50 kinds of meanings, there is no problem. But you just bear in mind that you have to maintain the grammatical rule. So how can you complete this sentence? If we lived in Dhaka, for example, one student can complete it in this way. If we lived in Dhaka, we could visit the zoo, for example. Because if you live in Pirojpur, you cannot visit a zoo. But if you lived in Dhaka, you could visit the zoo. I have used the zoo because in Dhaka there is one zoo, that is our national zoo, and that's why I have used the word zoo. So you can, for example, Rafi, a student, he has completed the sentence in this way. Okay, very good, it's right. But another student can complete in another way. For example, if we lived in Dhaka, we would visit our uncle every day. This sentence has been completed by Mamun, for example, because Mamun knows that his uncle lives in Dhaka. So he can complete in this way: if we lived in Dhaka, we would visit our uncle every day. So one sentence can be completed in different ways, that is in different ways that will have different meanings, but grammatically should be corrected. Here we see the same structure has been used: subject, would, base form of the verb. So you should not take tension that if many students, many of your friends write in many ways the same incomplete sentence. There is no tension. If it's grammatically correct, you will get full marks. Now I will talk about the third conditionals. Third conditional, if I write this sentence, if we had lived in Dhaka, I haven't explained it. If we had lived in Dhaka, we would have visited our uncle every day. Look at this sentence. The sentence has been written in using the grammatical rule of third conditional. What is the difference between second conditional and third conditional? Look at this. Like all other conditional sentences, it has a subordinate clause and a principal clause. There is no doubt. But the difference is here in the use of tense. In the if clause, that is the subordinate clause, has been written in past perfect tense. If we had lived in Dhaka, the very clause, that is the if clause, has been written in past perfect tense. That is subject, auxiliary verb had, then the past participle form of the principal verb. So definitely there is no doubt the clause is written in past perfect tense. But look at the principal clause. Again a different structure. Unlike the second conditional, this clause has been written using subject, then would have. Earlier in the second conditional there was would only, but here we have written would have. And here we see visited, the past participle form of the verb, then the object. So now you get the differences between the second conditional and the third conditional. That is, in third conditional sentence, the if clause is written in past perfect tense, and in principal clause the structure will be subject plus would have, then verb past participle form. Bear in mind, in place of would have you can write could have or might have. In second conditional sentence we write would, either would or could or might, but in third conditional sentence we use would have, could have or might have. Again, after would or could or might we write the base form, but after would have, could have or might have we write the past participle form of the principal verb of the principal clause, that is the main verb of the principal clause. So here is the basic difference between second conditional and third conditional. Now I would like to give you an example. You have to complete this sentence. I will give an incomplete sentence, you need to complete it. If Bangladesh had on the match. For example, I am talking about a cricket match and the incomplete sentence is given. If Bangladesh had on the match. How can you complete this? Look at this, the if clause, that is the subordinate clause, is written in past perfect tense. That is, the sentence should be completed using third conditional. That is, the next clause, that is the principal clause, should be written using the structure subject plus would have or could have or might have and the past participle form of the principal verb. So now can you try to complete this incomplete sentence? You can complete it in many ways. Just maintaining the structure, correct structure of the use of tense. If Bangladesh had on the match, what we can complete it? If Bangladesh had on the match, we would have been very happy. I have completed the sentence. Now it's a complete sentence. If Bangladesh had on the match, we would have been very happy. Here I have used the same structure, subject, would have, and past participle form of the principal verb. Here principal verb is the be and the past participle form of the be verb is been. So another student can complete it in another way. Can you give one more option of completing this sentence? For example, one more student can complete the sentence in another way. See, if Bangladesh had there should be the. For example, I am talking about a cricket match. That's why I have used the the. If Bangladesh had on the match, students would have brought or I can give a easy word, student would have celebrated the day. If Bangladesh had on the match, students would have celebrated the day. Look at this again, students subject, then would have auxiliary verb, then celebrated the past participle form of the principal verb. So if clause is written in past perfect tense and the principal clause has been written using the structure subjects, would have, then the past participle form of the principal verb, then the extension. So I think you have no problems regarding completing sentences using second conditional and third conditional. Thank you very much. Hope to meet you again. Goodbye.